All right, welcome back. It's been a little while. This has been about a 3, 4, 5 year break. 5 year, I think, actually. For the Equip Brews Tired podcast. This is a new version with a 33.3% increase in hosts. So we're back. We're committed to doing something here. We don't know how long it'll last for, as long as we can schedule stuff, and hopefully we can do at least maybe 10 episodes, find some good guests to talk to. We feel like Equip Powerlifting in Canada especially is kind of having a little bit of a moment coming back. So we think it's a good time to kind of bring the podcast back and chat about it. Over the preceding years, I've had many people come up to me at Open Equipped Worlds and tell me that we should do the podcast again and that it's okay that Bryce is lifting raw. He can still talk about Equipped. But now Bryce is lifting Equipped again. So
I am.
So it's even better. The host that maybe no one knows because he's not very well known is Garrett Bentley, will be joining us. Known mostly for laying down and holding heavy things in his hands. But Garrett with the biggest bench press in Canada in single ply. Let me just single ply, drug tested, whatever.
All the open IPF filters.
All the other filters I need for that.
Yeah.
And also winner of bench press worlds in 2025.
24, 25 I bombed.
Austin.
Austin, yeah, 2024.
That was already 2 years ago, eh?
Jeez, yeah, time flies when you're dying in a single ply.
So welcome back, everybody. This is kind of going to be an introductory episode, sort of kind of going over a few things and kind of talk about where we're at in our lifting and our life. And maybe we'll review a little bit about, we just had CanPL Nationals, had a pretty darn good showing for Equipped Lifting. So we'll kind of recap a little bit of that and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. And I'm glad that people are okay with me talking about Equipped Lifting, even if I was raw. That's comforting to hear. The Equipped community is still welcoming. But I am back in equipment now. As of, I guess my first Equipped meet was like December to qualify for National. So put everything back on in the process of coming down to 105. And just a quick word of advice for anybody looking to get into equipment. Don't do it while you're cutting a weight class. That's not the best way to do it. If you do it while you're going up a weight class, you're going to have some fun. But unless you have a sewing machine and are pretty comfortable sewing things every other week, I wouldn't recommend getting into equipment while cutting. I'll probably have to replace more of my equipment soon. But it was definitely a surprisingly steep learning curve getting back into kit, I found. Like, I had changed my squat quite a bit and gone to a much narrower squat when I was, squatting pretty successfully as a 120 raw. I found a lot of comfort, a lot of strength in being pretty narrow, and then tried to do the same thing in equipment. I just found I was getting absolutely rolled forward. Like, my back just couldn't tolerate that position. Tried in a regular stance suit for a little bit, and that just has never really been my thing. So my last heavy squat before my qualifying meet, I took 345 and was like, I really got to get depth on this. Zayd and I were training together, needed to get the depth, and I took it really deep and then didn't come back up, and we had to put it down on the spotting blocks. And that was my last heavy squat before my qualifying meet, and that was a little concerning. So basically decided, okay, I'm just going to get into the wide stance. I'm going to go back out wide and basically squat raw with wraps because the suit was not taken in at all from when I was a 120. And then did my qualifying meet. Squats were much more successful there. And since then have been just working in that suit and back to wide stance and all that kind of stuff. Going a lot better. And my bench also notably has been really good lately. I'm feeling pretty happy about that. I feel like there was a real turning point with my bench where I put on my bench shirt and Garrett looked at it and said, "Oh, you do that? You sewed it like that? Okay."
That sounds just like Garrett.
tell me what I'm doing wrong then, man. Like, you're one of the best benchers in Canada, like in the world, maybe even. Please teach me, help me. So yeah, Garrett, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about Garrett's super secret stitching method today, but he just kind of, took a look at the shirt, how I was stitching it, how I was wearing it. One of the big things I got out of some of that advice was pulling the sides and the back down a lot more than the front. And I feel like that allowed me to keep a way more kind of neutral, more raw-like pressing pattern. That basically after I got into the 46, my shoulder got a decent bit healthier, figuring some stuff out. I was able to, I think every single week from that point until Nats, I put 5 kilos on my bench each session, and it just moved the same and the same, same. And then at Nats, I matched my best 105 raw bench. Or not raw, equipped bench. But,
raw bench. Woo!
woo!
I'm stronger in the shirt.
Yes. Anyways, that's a little bit about my training. How have you guys' training and life and etc. been?
Garrett, I think you need to introduce yourself, since nobody listening obviously knows who you are. We're relatively unknown in this world.
Yeah, nobody knows who Garrett is in single play.
I'm such a newbie in lifter as well. I mean,
yes, very new.
Since 2014, right? 2013?
2012, first CanPL meet was 2013, yeah. I'm a single ply bench only lifter now, not by choice. I promise I did do the other lifts at one point.
Very famously too. Very famously with your spotting disaster.
Yep. What he's alluding to is I got folded like a lawn chair. That video comes up once every like 3 or 4 months, and that's always fun.
Makes the rounds. Yeah,
Instagram. Other people need to get some clicks and likes and stuff, so I get to get posted again. But yeah, no, I've been competing single ply bench for a few years. Once I realized I was not going to be doing the other lifts, I kind of just doubled down on figuring out equipped benching. I was never particularly good at it at first. I think like 245, maybe 250 as a super.
So pretty proud.
Some people would say that's a pretty good bench.
I wouldn't go that far.
But yeah, since then I've just kind of spent a lot of time playing around with the shirt and just single ply in general and figuring some stuff out. Been fortunate enough to have some success in the shirt. I've been to a few internationals, won a few internationals. Some highlights there are winning Bench Worlds 2024, winning the Arnold that same year, as well as Commonwealth Championships, followed by the immediate crashing and burning of bombing at 2025 Worlds. And then, now I'm just focusing on prepping for Worlds in Warsaw and hopefully get myself another championship under my belt. But equipped bench is wild, and there's a lot of really strong people out there now, and it seems everyone's just getting stronger, which is pretty cool to see. Yeah, that's me. Just bench only guy. I like that.
Hey, I mean, you still got one up on me, buddy. So since we last talked on the podcast in 2021, I competed at Master Worlds in 2022, and won Master Worlds equipped. Silver medal classic. 2023 did some raw lifting, I think. 2024 I decided I wanted to go for the open equipped team because it was in Iceland that year. So I did a meet in February, Central Canadians.
Yep.
Hit my second best total ever, 1025, I think. And then 6 weeks later, my right arm basically disintegrated, and I haven't been able to bench a barbell in 2 years. So I'm not really lifting anymore. I still squat 1 day a week, do some other stuff like that. But currently I'm training to run a half marathon. So a little different, not as much equipment, but equally uncomfortable, if not more so uncomfortable. So
yeah.
So I'm here as kind of moral support, I guess, in equip lifting.
I don't think your wisdom just evaporated from many years of spending time in single ply.
Quite a bit to contribute.
I did lift from 2005 till 2024. So, and maybe one day if elbow surgery, elbow something, elbow healing ever happens, maybe I'll be back to it. But at this point, my elbow needs time and potentially surgical intervention before I can think about really lifting again. So, so we just had nationals, which was kind of alluded to a little bit there. So Bryce, talk us through how your nationals went.
So for me this year and this cut and moving down to the 105s, getting back to single ply was a lot about just kind of renewing my, interest, passion, renewing some of the novelty of lifting. And I feel like that's one of the things Equipped has always kind of been for me, is a way to just shift gears and still do the same thing, but kind of different in a way that's fresh and engaging again. I think I got to a point and I had a really crappy meet in Germany, got sick the day of my Classic Worlds performance or the day before, and just, Garrett, I thought I was going to die that day.
I think we all thought you were going to die.
But I was okay, at this point, I don't know. That was kind of a rock bottom kind of moment in powerlifting for me. And I was all right, I either got to give it up or change it up. And changing it up seemed like the play. So decided to commit to the cut and get back in the equipment. And Nats was mostly approached as, I know I'm going to be coaching almost every session throughout the week. I know that I'm going to be, trying to socialize and hang out and go for dinner and, do whatever I can to just really embrace the whole thing of the nationals. So I really didn't put a lot of stock on my performance. I wasn't, I need to total this. I need to have, I need to hit that. Obviously I had some numbers in mind, and, if I had trained to hitting squat depth, I think we would have been a little closer to some of those goals. But it turns out what I was doing in training was not sufficient. So that was an interesting learning experience on the day.
Hey, we've all been there.
Yeah. So Zaid and I have been especially hard on one another in terms of our training lately. No more blowing smoke. But I think just in general, the experience was great. It was exactly what I needed, in terms of hanging out and seeing everybody and enjoying it. And I had a really good day of lifting. I missed the one on my squat opener, but walked away with winning my class and winning best overall male equipped open. And I'm not at this point committing to worlds, trying to do worlds again, just trying to slowly put that foot back down on the gas pedal with training, kind of ease in, enjoy it, get good, not feel like crap and be beat up and have recurring injuries and all that kind of stuff that I've just dealt with for way too many years. Trying to, take it a little slow, but the big goal will be 27 worlds. I'm going for, but Nats was a blast. It was phenomenal. Had a great time. Lifted pretty well. Matched my best 105 equipped bench.
Yeah.
Squat is still kind of rebuilding.
What did you bench at national? You benched 240?
245.
245 at national? No, you benched 240.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh.
245 is your best, right?
Okay. Those 5 kilos shy of my best then. I don't know, man. Like I said, I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to numbers for my day. That's one thing that I do a lot. People are like, oh, what were you lift? I'm like, I honestly, I don't.
Whatever was on the bar.
Yeah, whatever I had to.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking numbers that day, but forgive me, I misspoke there. But still felt pretty good to get back up to that bench because I missed 192 or 197 at my qualifier meet. That was in a different shirt from when I was 120, and just struggling through bench training and stuff. But it's getting there. So I had a blast. What about you, Garrett? You did some laying down at nationals.
I did some very competitive laying down. Prep was Prep was prep. I'm pretty consistently in my shirt. My pec shoulder were giving me a good amount of grief leading into it. So I made the tactical decision to wear a looser shirt and size up a few weeks out just to give my body a break. And then it went okay. Made 2 lifts, which for me is wildly
Pretty high
good.
success rate for equip bench only, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much a 1 for 3, make a lift, win the meet kind of bench where I'm towing the line of I'm opening towards the top end of the shirt because I have to. But yeah, I sized up. The shirt worked fine. Opened 370. Took what I thought was like a pretty conservative jump to 380 on my second. I got a little wonky from not a bad handoff, not knocking him, just a weird start where I started with the bar a little bit forward and made blocking out pretty hard, where I couldn't sell it enough to get the other white light. And then Mr. Shane Martin decided that he's just going to continue hitting PRs and matched. And of course, because he's a little guy and small and weighs lighter, I hope he hears that. I hope he puts weight on. Forced me to go out and make a third at 380, which ended up getting, so that's good. But yeah, Nationals has turned into more of a, I'm there as a coach and more of a support role than an athlete. As much as I like to consider myself an athlete, I've definitely found myself leaning more into the I'm a coach first and an athlete second role in the last few years, which is something that I think is awesome. It's also weird and foreign, and I struggle with it a lot at times, where it's like, oh, I'm going to coach, like you said, every session, and then at some point I have to weigh in while I'm coaching, run back, start warming up, and keep coaching. So that's always fun with Nationals. But yeah, the meet itself was good. It was really cool to see as many equipped lifters. Like we had 70, I think it was 73 or 74 equipped bench only, which is like
Crazy.
I want to say the most we've ever had at Campion National.
Might be a bet.
So that was cool.
Even when Nationals was only equipped, I think that's still probably more than
like I did like a quick scan and I couldn't find anything higher last week and I looked. But yeah, just being able to talk with everyone and just, hang out with a bunch of equipped lifters and just shoot the breeze was something that I think I needed as an athlete. And it was nice. It was great just watching other people lift some cool stuff.
Equipped vibes are pretty immaculate.
Yeah, the equipped vibes are always pretty good. And then yeah. And I mean, Ryan, you were back there hanging out. You were having fun with all of us.
I was barely there.
You were there.
Hey man, you called all my numbers for the day and made sure I got my second attempt on my squats.
Yeah, I made you squat to depth, which you immediately freaked out about and said that you'll never squat that deep.
Freak out. I was like, that was too deep. I can't go that deep. Give me the 2 white light treatment.
Which we did on your third.
Yeah, we did perfectly.
After I saw what other people were getting white lights for, I was like, oh, we can go a little higher than that. But after you missed your opener, we weren't taking shots on your second.
No.
Yeah, I think it's hard. It's my second Nationals not competing. Which is, I mean, actually my third, I guess, because I dropped out of PEI in 24. So it's tough to be there, but at the same time, it's fun to be there because, I remember being in the back. I went and helped the equipped men's session, and I was just like, man, I'm glad I'm not lifting. Like, this feels so chaotic, and like there's not a lot of space, and there's not really any space to wrap, and like I've competed in those situations before, and it's fine, and you get through it. But there was a part of me that was like, yeah, I'm okay not doing this right now. So, but I mean, it was awesome. Like there was a good women's session and a good men's session of equipped. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but a fair few in both sessions, and like just some really good lifting. A pretty good contingent of Quebec lifters coming up in single ply as well, which is really good to see. And just see the growth, because I mean, for a very long time, it felt like there was equipped lifters in Saskatchewan, some in Alberta, some in Newfoundland, and that was basically it. And then, we're starting to see it kind of grow little pockets. And the thing about equipped is you really need the pockets, right? Like it's so hard to do by yourself. And Bryce, you can attest to this because you did it for a long time by yourself. But I can't imagine training by myself equipped. There's times where in 2020 when we were in lockdown, Ray was still training as if Worlds was going to happen that year. So we were training in our garage by ourselves, and I was spotting and helping her by myself. And even one person spotting and all that stuff alone is hard enough, let alone doing it by yourself. And I still remember Bryce's video of squatting with his safeties, no safeties. I can't remember. And then you had a bad squat video is what I remember, basically.
I went down with like 350.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty fall. Yeah, that's as equipped is can be very scary, but it's also what kind of makes it exciting as well. So, one thing that I think I know everyone listening to this is probably equipped, but Garrett, what made you? Because so I started when it was only equipped. We know Bryce's kind of mantra of like finding a different angle at something that he does, but being bad at it, learning new skills. What got you into equipped lifting initially, Garrett?
Honestly, the meathead in me, and then that's like what I always refer to it as, is like I just want more reds on the bar. And at nationals in, I want to say it was Saguenay, that was 17, I think.
Yeah.
I remember watching it and I was just like, oh, these guys got more reds on the bar. That's pretty cool. And then I made a point to go to every session that had equipped lifting that entire nationals. And then I think it was at the conclusion of the open men's or shortly thereafter, I went to your guys' booth and bought 2 pairs of wraps. And I was wrapping my knees the day before I was competing classic. I was like, oh, I'm just going to practice. I'm going to learn. And when after competing the next day, went to the gym, wrapped my knees, squatted, and I was immediately hooked. It was just like, oh, this is way better. And then, like you said, like the idea of chasing something and learning something new is super appealing. Like the amount of time I've spent just like tweaking my bench shirts or trying different types of like angles, sewing or chest plate configurations, things like that, that like scratches this itch I have when it comes to like the sport of powerlifting. And I've just been hooked on that since.
Yeah, I think even with raw lifting, there's obviously like technique changes you can tweak to try to like eke a little more out. But with equipped, that's a whole other level of it, of like making those technique changes, making the gear changes that can really eke out significant amounts. Where you can go from putting on your loose shirt, Garrett, benching 370, put your tight shirt on, you can touch 400, right? Like that's, there's a lot of that kind of interest. And like I've always often compared it with pole vault versus high jump, right? Where the equipment allows you to lift more, but the technique required and the dangerous element to it is much elevated. So I think that's what's always kind of kept me into it. Is that, the pressure, the stress, there's that's not true, but nothing in lifting has ever been as stressful as that opening squat. You're trying to time your knees getting wrapped, getting ready to go out. And, you've probably hit depth in training, probably, but
depends
those reps agree with you, right? So, and, I don't know how many times I missed my opening squat on depth. But that first squat is always so stressful. And, there's such a camaraderie that comes with that. I think, you often see a guy come back after his opener or a girl come back after the opener and everyone's like, oh, did you get it? And they're like, yeah, good job. And you don't see that as much in classic lifting. And I'm not saying that, they all hate each other, but there's just that, I think equipped lifters all have that shared fear.
Suffering, maybe?
Yeah, suffering. Yeah. So I think it's an interesting twist on the sport.
Yep.
Well, I mentioned earlier, like the equipped vibes are immaculate, and I think that on some level, because equipped training, like you mentioned, kind of necessitates a community, right? And like we'll grow one where there isn't one, just based on people being like, oh, maybe I'll try this out. It seems cool. And then all of a sudden you got spotters, you got rappers. I think there is more of a sort of like communal element to equipped training. And I think that comes through in the way the warm-up room like feels, you got everybody just there to like help everybody out because you're all like, everybody knows what each other person is in for on this day. It's like any number of things could go wrong. Like you have an emergency sewing kit. I ended up like wrapping one of Zaid's warm-ups while I was also warming up because Garrett was running between 3 different platforms and 4 athletes, and like to his credit, working his ass off, right? Like this isn't a dig at Garrett because I had to wrap a warm-up, but like that's the kind of shit that you're just like, yeah, sure, like whatever. I had 3 or 4 other coaches and whoever else was around just being like, oh, hey, we'll spot this one. And I'm like, I don't even know if we've met, but thank you. So it is one of those things where there's just a good vibe to it. I don't think that necessarily has to like have a foil in classic lifting, but there is a very good vibe that is kind of evident and almost like necessary and expected in an equipped warm-up room.
Yeah, like it very much has a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of feel to it, where
because I can't reach mine and you can't reach yours.
Yeah, I can't scratch it. But like I know, like I'm super lucky. Like I have a group of people that come in specifically to help me bench. And I know like a few of them have played with equipment. It's like, okay, like when are you training? I will come in and I will like wrap your knees, or I'll come in and help you with your shirt, or you don't know how to sew, but I do. I'll sew your shirt for you kind of thing, right? Like And I think we've seen that, like Ryan, I know you made the equipped Q&A group chat where a lot of stuff has just been like shared between athletes and coaches and some feedback given both ways. But I don't think you see that on the classic side to that degree where everyone is just like very forthcoming with the information. Like someone posts something about grip and there's 20 different answers. Whereas like the classic side of it, it almost feels like they want to hold it themselves because they don't want someone to get an advantage or close in on them. Whereas like the equipped lifters want to see everyone lift more weight. Like they want someone to squat more, or they want someone to go up on bench, or I don't know. There's something special about that. And that just like, if it always feels really, really good to be at like a high level equipped meet and see that. And it just like leaving nationals, you just feel, I don't know if recharged is the word I'd want to use, but like something special leaving it and just like excited to get back to prep and watch people lift again.
Yeah. I remember 2019 in Dubai. I had just like kind of always self-wrapped at that point. That was just what I did in training. That was what I was doing at the meet. And a couple of the Swedish coaches and one of the Swedish lifters who I was kind of buddy with, they were like, well, we don't have anybody in the session tomorrow. Do you want us to come wrap you? And I was like, sure. So they just like showed up and wrapped my knees for the day, right? Like no expectations, no like remuneration, no nothing. They were just like, oh, you don't have anybody? You want us? Right. And that seems like very much the vibe and the sort of general outlook of people in equipped lifting. I think part of it is because like we're a niche within a niche, right? Like powerlifting is a small sport. Equipped powerlifting is a very small sport. And I think a lot of us just like want to see more people get into it. We want it to grow. We want it to be a big deal. We want there to be more opportunities for equipped lifters and more spotlight shed on equipped lifters. And, we want more exposure and more involvement and more community, So I think a lot of us act in a way that, furthers that agenda.
Yeah, I think, it's funny because like I almost see it sort of like, there's this psychology of CrossFit and shared suffering causing community growth, and I think that's definitely a big part of equipped. That even if it's not someone in your local community, like even if it's someone from Quebec that I've never met or trained with, like, I kind of know what you've been through. You put a squat suit on, you got the marks. Your legs are calloused and scabbed over. So we've all kind of been there, and you have this sort of shared understanding of what each other have been through.
Mhm.
And I think in Canada we had into 2020 Nationals. I think was another big surge of equipped lifting, and it felt like equipped was really growing. And then with the pandemic, everyone had to split up, and I think that really caused a rupture to that and slowed the growth again. And it's been so good to see the last 2-3 years now where it's kind of coming back around. People are getting back into groups and training, and I think it's so nice to see that kind of growth again, because like you said, it is very much a niche within a niche, especially in Canada. We have a pretty small equipped community, but to see it growing slowly but surely, it's really nice. And I think it's very exciting. And I'm really excited to see what especially, Japan is kind of interesting, because I think everyone kind of like, when Japan hosted Bench Worlds in 2019, I think it was massive. I think it was like 900 lifters. It was the first super massive Bench Worlds, right? And I think, again, everyone will probably want to go to Japan for Equipped Worlds next year. So I think it'll be interesting to see if we see another big surge with that. Just to kind of, hey, I want to go to Japan anyway, so let's try and push for this. Nationals though. Besides your own lifting, what other stuff did you see that kind of? I'll bring it up quickly. Clifton Foe, the ever present, the ever I don't know. He's always pushing that boulder up the hill. He's always grinding his body into. I don't understand how he does it. Yeah, but to see him walk away from so many training sessions beforehand and then still come out and in the end, if you didn't follow it, it came down to Bryce and Clifton for best equipped male lifter. So
Zaid.
Yeah.
It was like, was there one other person, maybe two? I think I had 4 tabs open trying to keep track of GL points, but it's crazy to see Clifton come along and come into equipped in the first place, and then push his body to the limit when it's clearly been past the limit itself. So it's good to see. I really hope he sticks with it and can get his body into a healthy position. Keep going.
So just to Clifton's credit too, with how hit or miss his training was, that was a 22 kilo total PR from Worlds, which is wild, right? Like 22 kilo PR, and that's on the miss at 302 on the deadlift. Like if that goes, that's a whole different ballgame, right?
Yeah.
So he really does have like a crazy future in equipped if he just stays healthy, gets healthy, and like stays with it. That's crazy. So good.
Well, I mean, look at World Games, right? I don't know that his prep was like that much better. World Games, I think it was also pretty rocky, pretty tough. A lot of sessions like didn't go his way, a lot of pain, a lot of working through stuff and dealing with stuff, and showed up and just absolutely crushed.
When it mattered, yeah.
I don't know how he does it. But
it's a good
credit to him.
Ace to have up your sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna mention some like showings from nationals, I'd like to hop in and throw a few names out there. Obviously, Rhea won best lifter with Ryan. You correct me. I think it was like 106 GL, 105 GL.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
I think 2 of the standouts for me. Bryce, you coached Danielle, but like that's her first equipped nationals and like a fantastic showing. And the one that also surprised me based on the training that she had posted was Danny. Like she showed up 125.5 national record bench. And even that, like that was still, I want to say almost a 20 kilo PR on her last equipped total as well, with what seemed like some rocky training going into it.
Yeah, I think her training was up and down, but her bench especially was like I don't think she had a very good prep at all.
Um,
Right? Like,
yeah,
I think she
she,
touched and pressed like one rep in training, maybe.
no, she didn't touch, and I think that's the secret. You don't touch and train. You save it for the platform. That's
You heard it
that's
here
the
first,
rule.
ladies and
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that I wouldn't take that advice necessarily.
No, don't do that. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't do that. And I'm gonna give the big man some flowers too.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I have a bias. I'm a big Zaid fan, but Zaid had a pretty good day too.
Pretty good.
Biggest equipped squat, single ply, tested Canada.
All right. See you guys later, everybody. All right.
Yeah. Biggest total, which I mean was at one point Bryce's for like 6 minutes, and then it
Not
was
even.
Ryan's.
Not
and
even.
Eric's.
These guys were on the opposite platform. They took it like
in 2020.
60 seconds
That was in
later.
2020. Yeah. It was very close. But yeah, I thought, and I was going to mention Clifton as well. Those were some pretty standout performances in my eyes. And it was really cool to see that lifting happen. Like, really cool. And then there's a lot of other names like, Britt did her quote unquote equipped debut as well.
Equipped debut, yeah. That third bench was something else, though. Let me tell you.
In the shirt.
Yeah.
Got a touch.
I mean, she's got grit, right? She was like, I'm gonna go out there. We're gonna put the shirt on, and I'm gonna try really hard.
Yeah, like her.
And to her credit, she fought to get that thing down the chest for a while.
Yeah, and then Christine Castro also
she did great.
Jumped in the kit. She's been putting together some pretty good training. I think if she stays with it and she gets in some more appropriate fitting gear, she's going to have a pretty good future in the equipment as well. The total was down a bit from what she'd done previously, but also not taking all of her attempts. I believe she took one bench press.
Might be sure. I just know her equipment was like very loose.
I think just one bench press. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a pretty chill day because she was competing the next day classic, if I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, the future is bright for equipped.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah. And I want to just circle back to Danielle for a second, because that has been one of the coolest, like most fun things that I've been able to be a part of in terms of like somebody getting into equipment, because she's already like such an accomplished and high level lifter classic. Well, she's medaled at Worlds, taking bench medals. Like she's got very strong, very capable lifter. And she dealt with just so many injuries for so long. And I'm not saying that the equipment like had any impact on the injuries. I think we were kind of sorting those out around the time she transitioned to equipment. But just the change, and I think she gets a lot out of it in the same way that I got a lot out of it, just making things feel new again, giving yourself a ton of improvement. And like she opened with her third squat attempt from her qualifying meet. I think this was like 3 months later, she hit 40 kilo PB or something. Like she just is taking to it so well and is so excited about it. And I just like, when I get her check-ins, she's totally just ecstatic to be in the equipment, just loving the whole thing, trying to figure out a bench shirt and just like all this stuff. It's very endearing. Like I just, it makes me very, very happy to see somebody just get that like pumped about being in the equipment, having a good time, taking to it and doing well. And I don't know. I've just been thrilled with that.
In like very not tight gear either. Like, so, I mean, 615 total. I told Ray after, I said, the cut to 76 might need to start soon. So, as Danielle is, like you said, I mean, super accomplished classic lifter. And if she can get the gear working well for her and get in some appropriately sized and gear that was probably made after she was born, maybe.
So she competed in a real squat suit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Her deadlift
suit is quite
that
old.
is like a hand-me-down that's basically just, I mean, it's like so old. I don't even know if it has a Titan logo on the front anymore. And she squatted and deadlifted in that for quite a while, but maybe 3 or 4 weeks up from the meet, she got her squat suit. She's currently in the process of sizing down in the shirt and getting a new shirt. And I think her deadlift suit is like on the way. She's all in.
Yeah. So
cool
I think
see what
it's
she does.
awesome. Yeah. Awesome to see. I think it's good lifting all around. Obviously, Diana Foxhall didn't push herself too hard at nationals, just trying to punch her ticket to Worlds. But another very accomplished Canadian lifter who, hopefully will be able to, train hard into the internationals this year. I don't know if she's planning to do any of the other North Americans or Commonwealths that are in Canada, or if she's just looking towards Turkey later this year. But yeah, I think it's super good to see. Obviously, there's a big schwack of master lifters that are also, lots of them have been in the sport and in equipped powerlifting for a long time, but we're even seeing growth there with new masters who've come into the Sport Classic are now trying equipped as well. So it's good to see the growth across all categories. Juniors, sub-juniors, obviously quite a bit smaller. It'd be nice to see some growth in the younger ages, but I think that might be the hardest category to kind of broach.
I think all the juniors and sub-juniors are just from Fowler's gym, right?
Mostly, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, a lot of them. I think actually almost all of them.
Yeah, I think Sean Vandenberg's kids, maybe, or maybe
Zach.
Is he open now? No, he can't be.
No, he's junior. He's junior.
But maybe he didn't do 3 lift. Maybe he just did. Bench? Did he do bench equip this year?
He did bench, I believe. Did we have him on junior? I don't think we had any junior men.
But yeah, I know he's been, I think Zach's been to Worlds for equipped before. So there's, definitely some, but it'd be nice to see some growth into the sub-junior, junior categories. It's definitely...
They're not beat up and tired enough yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It comes.
There's definitely some of that.
The third part of equippers and tired comes.
Yeah. Yes. Well, the bruising comes pretty quickly after the equip part. So yeah. So what's plans for this year? Bryce, you said you're kind of not forcing any internationals this year, just kind of like play it by ear.
I think ideally just doubling down on some coaching, put in some applications for some international teams, see how that all shakes out. My next competition will be Westerns, first fourth in Saskatoon, because it lines up with the similar sort of like biannual schedule to Nats and Worlds next year. It gives me some impetus to like train for something and do the competition thing, stay sharp, get my depth judged by real judges.
I can call your depth there too. Look.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good actually. I'll start sending you my training videos as soon as I'm back.
Perfect.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. And again, see how the coaching lines up. I might be doing a lot of coaching like the week before I compete. Because one of the teams I put in for was Commonwealth. So if it works out that way, again, that's something that I'm kind of budgeting for in terms of my attention split and priorities this year. But looking forward to getting back in the kit, doing fun stuff. Deadlift 7s raw is it's okay. It's not really doing it for me though, in the same way as the big heavy equipped single.
Garrett, obviously you're looking towards Bench Worlds coming up shortly.
Yep. Competitively, I'll be looking at Bench Worlds. And Commonwealth being in Canada is kind of appealing. It's a 2-hour flight for me. It's pretty easy travel. So I know my partner has put in for that team. So if she ends up going, I will be there anyway. So why not? But mostly coaching is kind of where my schedule is lined up right now. We have Classic Worlds coming up, so I'll be coaching that team. And after that, I think maybe after Worlds, a small body recomp cut, eyeing up 120, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's fun.
We'll see how Worlds goes and make a decision based off that.
Welcome to the Diet Club. We can send each other our macros and we can be accountability buddies.
We can follow each other on MyFitnessPal or whatever the cool kids are using now.
Macro Factor, buddy.
Macro Factor, that's the cool one.
That's the cool one.
I as you can tell, I've not tracked a calorie in quite a while.
I've seen you drink multiple bottles of Coke at one sitting just to get your calories in.
Just calories.
You're obviously tracking some calories.
2 Cokes. Um,
Ryan, I wanted to ask you really quickly, how has all this transition to like running training and body weight loss? How's your training? I know it's not equipped powerlifting, but like how has your training and all that kind of stuff been going? How's that feeling? What's the process like?
Uh, I mean, it's mostly been walking at this point.
Okay.
I started this at 145 kilos. I didn't think I was really in a body weight condition to be running. I didn't think I needed to put that kind of stress on my joints. I'm currently down to about 133 kilos. So I originally, my goal wasn't to start running until I got to 130. But I got bored of walking, so I started doing a little bit of running.
Nice.
But it's mostly been like run walks. It's been good just because of the goal, the purpose, the reason to get out of bed in the morning. I know I might have been maybe 18 months ago when I saw a psychologist. Kind of, it's tough. You lose your kind of reason, and so I chatted with him, and he kind of helped me reframe things. And he said, like, you need to find a purpose, and if lifting's been your purpose for 20 years, you can't suddenly be without one. So at the time, I kind of like reframed my purpose towards like, coaching. Ray was training for World Games, so my focus became just purely on that, coaching her, helping her. So to have my own kind of thing right now is kind of nice. So, I'm walking 3 days a week. I walk every day just for general cardio now. But 3 days a week I do like a run walk. Still do 4 days of strength work. My right arm is pretty limited, so mostly I'm doing single arm stuff with my left hand, doing some very limited stuff, some isometrics with my right arm, just to kind of try to build some capacity back into it. And then I do some moderately, like some sixes on squats with the safety bar. There's some good mornings and stuff like that. Just some lower body strength to keep that kind of there. And then, so it's nice to have something to kind of focus on. It's similar in the fact that it's very uncomfortable, but definitely it's longer duration uncomfortableness. I'm much better with get my knees wrapped and do a heavy squat single in the span of 2 minutes rather than 40 minutes of elevated heart rate, sweating profusely. Well, I guess sweating profusely comes in both sides of it, but
yeah, definitely does.
Yeah. So it's been something to at least kind of keep me going. The body weight loss was kind of a mental shift for me because for so many years I talked about going down to 120 again, because I was there for a little while back when I got married, like in 2012. But it was always of two mindsets of like, I want to be lighter, I should be lighter, but I don't want to be weaker, So I had that monkey on my back that kept telling me, oh, if you lose weight, you're going to be weaker, and you don't want to do that because you want to squat 425. That was always my goal, to squat 425. So, I couldn't commit to it until I had to basically accept that, I'm not going to do that probably at this point. So, so it's been different to kind of really refocus and it's very fun to count calories and close my exercise rings on Apple stuff. So that's what I do. I make sure I close all my rings every day, and but it's still fun. Go ahead. As I say, at least I'm in the gym. I get to hang out with some lifters, 4 days a week and help them. So still around lifting at least.
And then, sorry, you've committed to a marathon? That's the plan, yeah?
I am signed up for both a half marathon and a full marathon. Half marathon's in September, just before Commonwealths. So as long as I don't die doing the half marathon, I'll be at Commonwealths. And then I'm committed to a full marathon in January of 27. I don't know. I don't have any sort of goals for these sorts of things. It's hard for me to be like, I'm going to run a marathon under X hours. I don't really know, because I can't even imagine. I was talking about, because now my YouTube algorithm has become all about running. So I was watching videos of people talking about threshold pace. I was like, well, what the hell is that? So it's like, it's the pace you can run at for an hour. And my mind's like, you can run for an hour? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And I know, like, my sister, my oldest sister is like an ultra marathoner. So, like, you know, I have a resource I can tap to kind of help me with it. But yeah, it's never something I've done. Like, I've never been a cardio person. The most I ran ever was playing Little League baseball. And, you know, we used to have to run fields at the start and end of our practices. So that's about the last time I ran a large amount. And that was a few years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a minute ago.
Yeah.
That's exciting, though. It's good that you found something that you're finding joy in.
I mean, it was kind of limited to what can I do without using my right arm, and which is my dominant hand. So people are like, play pickleball. I'm like, well, I'm right-handed, so I could learn to play with my left hand, but I can barely brush my teeth with my left hand. So I don't think playing pickleball is going to be the way to go. So yeah, basically, it kind of limited me to playing soccer or running, and yeah, I guess soccer is still running. So
yeah,
either way,
if you can run well, you're pretty much ready to play soccer.
Yeah, so I just thought, just might as well run. It's easier for me to do that. There's no organized practices or anything like that. I can just do it myself, and yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure I'll become a runner per se, but you know, I will be running somewhat.
So you mentioned that you'll be at Commonwealth. Are you planning to be at any other events as well?
So Ray, at this point, Ray is planning to probably free lift at North Americans, and then bench only at Commonwealth. So as well, we'll set up booths at both those events. So we'll be at both those for the full swing. I think Commonwealth is like 12 days. So I'll be living in Winnipeg for a long time. They
posted the tentative plan schedule, and it is a lot. It is a lot of days.
It's only one platform, right? So
yeah, the Commonwealth committee was told that they have to do one platform now, apparently.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of powerlifting on one platform.
Yep. So, and then we'll be going out to Quebec in May to set some booths up at some weightlifting events. I might have an opportunity to see a surgeon in Montreal when I go out there. So that would be good. She's a very accomplished surgeon. So hopefully I can get on her radar.
Well, that'd be great.
Cool. Well, what do you think the podcast is going to be? You know, last time we did guests, and we kind of did 2 guests of one country. So back to back, we did like 2 Norwegians back to back, then 2 Swedes back to back. I think. Are we still thinking it's going to be a guest-based podcast?
I mean, there's some really good lifters out there, but also
go either way. I think probably having guests is a good way to like keep things fresh, like reach more people.
Yeah,
just more insight into the sport because it is so vast and there are so many ways to do every little thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like just rapping. There's hundreds of techniques that everyone swears by. There's just talking raps. We could have episodes just on that.
For sure. Okay, cool.
We could talk about stitching.
Yeah, stitching. Do a sewing machine demonstration. Yeah. Get your sewing machine out and do live demonstration.
That's a Bryce thing. Bryce has fallen in love with his sewing machine.
It's just, you know, you do some equip lifting, and then while you're in it, you're like, a little big room here, and then you're walking by the sewing machine, about to leave the gym, and you're like, yeah, maybe just a quick couple passes, you know, fine.
Just something to take the edge off.
You talked me into it, you know, it's giving me the eyes.
Well, I mean, that's. I remember we went down to train in Blaine's gym in in 2018, I think. Yeah, 2017, 2018 went down there, and he also had a sewing machine in his gym, so he could adjust his gear. So, I mean, that's the equip lifting life. I mean, a lot of people do it by hand, and I know you did for a long time, Bryce, but that seems arduous to, especially through straps, like thick stuff. Yeah, I would end up stabbing myself so many times.
I think I'll still probably opt to do shirt sleeves by hand. Just because how I want to do them, whether or not it's correct or not, it's working. So I stick with it. But yeah, I was blown away. It used to take me, I'd do like a little bit of a hip, right? Like maybe not end to end seam, but most of the hip. It would take me 2 hours. And then I got the sewing machine set up, like messed around with it a bit on some straps, did some probably not great seams, whatever, figured it out, got the pattern, distance, stitches, blah, blah. And then I go to do a side panel, and I literally ripped just the whole thing, just top to bottom seam, because it was a suit I was 120 in. So I was like, I'm just going to take it all the way in, top to bottom. It took me 30 seconds. And I was just like, oh my God. Yeah, the time difference between 2 hours and 30 seconds.
Yeah, I am still unfortunately a by hand guy.
Yeah, but you don't have to do any suits.
I have Miriam stuff.
Oh, I guess.
And anyone that comes in here, the stuff that they borrow is usually too big, so it has to be altered. And I'm unfortunately the one that has to do that. I've actually been pawning a lot of it off on Simone.
The gym hasn't invested in a sewing machine yet?
I have a sewing machine. The problem is I've broken it twice trying to use it. So I've given up hope on my ability to use it.
Okay.
I am the weak link. Next time I'm in Calgary, I'll book in for a sewing lesson.
Yeah, I'll show you how to thread a bobbin.
You can walk me through it step by step.
And I mean, to be fair, the nice thing about sewing machines is every Facebook marketplace is absolutely littered with them.
Yeah.
And really interesting. I think in Calgary right now, there used to be a fashion or a clothing manufacturer called King's Fashion, and they also gone out of business because they're selling all their industrial grade sewing machines. And I almost posted that into the equipped Q&A group, being like, "Hey, anyone need a really high end sewing machine for probably not very much money? You can probably get something that'll handle any sort of equipment that you want to put through it." So
I think I got like a Singer. It says heavy duty on it. I don't know. It's still made of plastic, but
what's inside that counts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, luckily we have Rhea's mom.
Yeah, I've seen those seams. That is,
so
that's tight, professional.
Yeah, she's done a lot of stuff over the years. So, but yeah, I think it's interesting to be able to do stuff like that. Just playing with stuff, right? Take a seam in, see how it feels. Mm-hmm. Arduously stitch pick it. You do it wrong, and then try it again, right? So that's part of the fun. Learning new skills. You can become a quilter. Maybe take up quilting in your spare time for stress relief.
I don't know if that's the direction I'm going with it.
You can make some pretty sweet metal artwork quilts. It's got to be a market for that.
Sew together all the flags I can't put up at home.
Yeah. All right, guys. I don't know. That seems like a good natural conclusion point for the first episode. I think nice to try and do this maybe every. I don't want to commit too much time, I don't want to commit anybody else's time. But if we do it maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks, would be kind of good. I think it'd be interesting. There's a lot of people have been asking for us to kind of bring us back, so I think there's at least a little bit of demand out there to get some people listening to it. So,
and if anybody has questions, thoughts, suggestions, I think there's usually like places for feedback, whether it's YouTube comments or whatever podcast app, whatever. I don't know. Do a review thing. I hear a lot of podcasters say that people should do that. Give us a 5-star on
5 stars. Yeah.
Do that stuff.
It's very helpful
so we can spread the word of equip lift.
the
Yeah, I
gospel.
think if all else fails, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram to shoot us a question, and yeah, we can make sure we answer any questions and any episodes. And
Sounds good. We'll see everybody when we see you.
sounds good.